What is going on, everybody? So in today's video I am going to review shortly, a little quick thing, the MT15. The first half of it is going to be basically just a little rundown on the actual amp, the head, the controls in the front, the foot pedal, the back of it, the tubes that it takes, and all that nonsense. And then I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it just for you. I'm gonna play it through the distorted channel, channel 2, the lead channel as they call it, and then I'm gonna give you the clean channel, and that's gonna be it. If you don't like it, get over it. But yep, let's get on with it.
Alright guys, so here's the amp. As you can see, it's pretty beautiful. It is definitely pretty beautiful. It's got these wonderful little red lights and all this nonsense, which I'm just in love with. It's actually pretty awesome because it turns blue when you turn it on the clean channel. So anyways, enough about that nonsense. Here's the thing, I have it turned on right now. Of course, you got your power on, you got your standby, then you got your presence channel and your master channel, which is actually for only your lead channel. I've seen some people actually try, like online reviews and whatnot, try to actually use this and mess around with this on the clean channel when it's selected, and it does nothing. It just does nothing. It is not meant for, I don't know why they did that. I mean, maybe that's just because they didn't have room over there on the lead channel section, but either way, this is your master channel for your lead, your distortion channel. This thing gets really loud. It is a 15-watt amp, little lunchbox amp, but it is really loud. I actually have a dual rectifier, and that thing, it's a 100-watt amp, and sometimes I crank it when I'm recording, and in my garage where I have the isolation box, it's pretty loud when I have it cranked up. But this amp, I think it's just a tone in the resonance that it kind of gets, but it sounds louder at times to me than the dual rectifier does. I don't know if that's true or not, but it does to me. But anyways, yes, it is a 15-watt amp, and on the back, which I'll show you guys in a little minute, it does have kind of like a power switching capability from 15 watts to 7 watts. I think that's awesome for some of you, apartment players and whatnot, people that can't really play too loud when you're practicing at home. Yes, it is awesome. So anyways, moving right past that, the clean channel, obviously you got your bass, your middle, your treble, and then you got your volume, which that's the dedicated volume for the master, the clean channel, might add, which is amazing. This thing, the clean channel actually gets pretty loud too. But on top of that, there is a volume difference when you go to just the straight clean, which this thing actually has a push-pull knob on the treble. See where it says pull boost? It is a little boost, but more so, it's more like a really dry overdrive pedal. Kind of adds like a shimmering boost on the clean channel. I don't know if it's just because of the guitar that I use, the Ibanez that I use, that it gets a very clean boost and it shimmers it a little bit more. It gives it a little bit more of that brighter end on the treble boost. It could just be me. What I'm using, I don't know. I haven't really seen any reviews on it that really show off this little doohickey here, thingy there, all that. No, it's a nice little feature, and actually when we're practicing with the band, I actually use the pull boost as my main clean channel sound, because it's a little bit more compressed and it's louder. It's not exactly just louder, but it's more present in the full band mix, but it still doesn't really overpower anybody else. So that's the clean channel. Over here you got the lead channel, which I just talked about part of it over here with the master channel. This presence is actually pretty phenomenal. This thing works amazingly. It definitely brightens this up. And I am talking about this presence because it only works for the lead channel. These two are for that section. This presence boost right here, or just presence knob, is actually pretty phenomenal. I usually leave it like this because that's kind of where I like it. I really like that nice chunky bright percussive sound that I get out of my sound, my CAD, my amp, all that, when I have it set up pretty high. I don't leave it all the way because that's just deafening Usually on the dual rectifier, I will have it like set all the way back because it acts a little bit different. This isn't as piercing. This actually shapes the sound a lot better than any other presence knob on any other amp I've ever used. Now over here, obviously you got your bass, middle, and treble, just like anything else, and then your gain, which this amp actually, when it comes to the gain, you can set the gain all the way down and still have a nice crunch, which you can use it for other applications. This amp is mainly used for that really nice shimmering clean tone, but also that powerful high gain distorted metal. That's really what it's for. That's what it was designed for. The gain doesn't really oversaturate your signal in a very noisy way. It's actually designed very well. I don't like to take it any higher than that because that's about where I will ever need it for what I'm doing. But if you're wanting to do any, like, you know, any solos or anything like that you're recording with, that you're trying to, you know, any lead parts or anything like that you want to get more saturation on, yeah, by all means turn it up some more. It's gonna give you the saturation that you need. You don't really need a pedal behind this amp, like a tube screamer or anything like that, to give you that overdrive on a lead part. That's my preference. And over here, obviously, past that gain, this little knob. You see how that? You see, it's so beautiful. It's a little channel switcher. On the back, it does have the input for the channel switcher, which is just a little pedal. I'll show you that in a second over here. Okay, so here's the back of the amp. Back here, you have the foot switch section. That's where you want to plug this bad boy in. The FS1M, I guess, is what that says on there, if I can read correctly. The foot switch channel switcher for this amp. It will basically bypass the little switching that you have at the front. You look over here, you got the 16 ohm output rather, the 8 ohm output, which you can actually parallel out. I don't really need to do any of that. I just have one cab. Or you can daisy chain from one to the other, like most other people do. And this is actually pretty cool. They have biasing jacks over here, which I think that's awesome. Then back here you have the power switching that I was talking about. Full power to the half power. I actually like to keep it on the full power because I don't ever really need to turn it down that much. The half power 7-watt setting, for me, from what I've ever heard, usually just changes the tone a little bit. It's a little bit more dull. I mean, you can hear a volume difference just a tad bit, but it's really more of a tonal difference from what I can tell. Who knows? Actually, with the wattage, it might actually give you less headroom. That might also be the thing, which is usually the case when you're changing wattages. Then over here, obviously, you have your effects loop, which is the send and return. This amp does take pedals very well, but in this video you won't be witnessing any of that because I don't really have any pedals to show off on this amp, or really care to. I want to show off how good this amp is just dry, just with what it is. What you see is what you get. So I really admire the engineering that went into this amp, you know. I think it's amazing. Mark Tremonti with PRS, which is, Mark Tremonti is one of my favorite artists, and PRS is, I think, is a very phenomenal company that takes a lot of pride in their quality. The work that actually went to this amp is amazing. I admire it a lot. Cool too, you get tubes in this amp. The two 606s that you see in there, I don't know if you can see it or not with the camera. It takes two 606s and four 12AX7s. The rectifier is amazing. This amp is amazing. Let's go and check it out.